Hello, 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 hello. Hey, friends, if you're here watching this replay, thank you so much for stopping by. Svava Brooks here, trauma recovery coach. You can learn more about me in the links below the video, where if you are looking for healing support after childhood trauma and abuse, please reach out. You can learn also more from my books, a couple of them, one here, Journey to the Heart, and my other book, the name of it, I can't think of it right now. Please come visit. I am here on Thursdays live with my fellow Survivor Thrivers. Hey, friends, how are you doing today? Good to be here with you live. Please say hello so I can visit with you. Good to see you guys. Thank you, Rob, releasing your authentic self. See, I don't remember the name of my books. So thank you, Rob, for helping with that. Today, after a check-in or visit, see how we're doing, we are going to talk a little bit about science, the science of hope. Because hope is an important ingredient for our healing journey and it can be cultivated. So we're going to talk about that. And as we lately have been doing more interactive things, I'm hoping to get some help from you guys about what step you are in on your journey. So thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. So how are you doing today? I know it's late for you. I always appreciate you coming in here this late. I'm actually looking forward to heading out for a walk after our heart-to-heart conversation here on YouTube. The sun is shining here in Portland, Oregon, and the trees are blooming, which makes my heart sing, brings me joy, brings me joy. Hey, Sue. Hey, friend. How are you? Long time no see. Thanks for all those pretty flowers. I gotta figure out all those emojis that you guys are so creative with putting up. Lynn, cold, wet, raw, Rhode Island. Rob, I'm still doing my thing from last week. Has been a busy week and lots of emotional turmoil, change, etc. I hear you. I hear you. It's been interesting. It's between my clients and family and friends. I think the universe, someone is up there and really stirring the pot, right? Something is going on. Or someone has taken the world and is really shaking it because stuff is up. Stuff is up. Certainly been doing a deep dive myself this past few weeks, week or so. But it's all good. Change is good. Change is good, even though part of us is, heck no, not doing it. Change is good, right? Isn't that why we're here? That why we signed up? Hanging in there, says Sue. Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Me too. It's been an interesting day. I can add a new experience to my list of things. I have actually cut hair before, but my son today decided he wanted a buzz cut. So this morning I was giving him a buzz cut. So we've had a few laughs, but we made it through. Aquarius. Yes. Yes, it is. We are in the age of Aquarius for sure. Lynn, I signed up for the Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But I think whether we like it or not, like, isn't there a quote, like, if there's anything that's predictable, it's that things do change, right? And this is the weird thing about us humans, right? We want something and we don't want it. We want change, we don't want it. So it's the dance that we do. But yes, as we are stepping into the age of Aquarius, right? What's the age of Aquarius asking from us? What is it that we are being asked to do? Any thoughts? While you guys are thinking, as I was thinking about our topic today, and it was actually inspired by a conversation that I was having with my mom earlier today. She actually, she's funny, right? My mom is funny. She actually was interviewing me about my relationship, but my son and his journey with school. And I know I've shared it with you guys. And she basically, because when it came to my son, being that he's on the spectrum, maybe I'll share pictures, Rob. It looks okay, but it was a little choppy there for a while. So, but he's a goofball. So we were just laughing. He was ready with a hat. So, long story short, my mom was asking me to share with other parents the journey that I've had to go through to help my son through his schooling, because being that he was a special need, I called him my spirited child. I kind of broke all the rules when it came to making sure that he got what he needed. Basically, took him out of school, unschooled him, kept him home, and that really helped kind of turn around his self-esteem and how he is now doing. I decided to take the long road and figured it didn't matter if he was not on grade in terms of academics if he was unhappy. So anyways, long story short, my mom was asking me to share this because she gets a lot of parents that reach out to her and don't know what to do for their kids since they're struggling in school. And this isn't always about the teacher being bad. A lot of well-meaning good teachers out there who are doing the best they can with the resources and where they're at. But it's hard as a teacher with a classroom of 30 kids to tend to every single one. So anyways, my mom has been pushing me to share that story more because I think how we are schooling kids isn't working. And anyways, long story short, what that brought me to as I was reflecting on what I had to do and what that has given my son now that I really was more invested in supporting him and, being like authentic who he was. I wasn't, again, so invested in his grades. I was more invested in him being happy and him being, for him to know that he belonged, that he was loved, and that we believed in him, and that we encouraged and supported him in exploring all kinds of different things. And from that, right, he became very hopeful and started to believe in himself. And as a result of it, is way more interested in being different than other people. He does not fall into the box, so to speak. And he's very, excited that actually now that he is a little different and kind of thrives in that and knowing that about himself. So that reminded me that a few times with the people that I'm working with, I talk about, right, the science of hope and how important that is to our healing journey. And I don't know, when you think about hope, what comes to mind? When you think about the concept or the word hope, what comes up for you? Because I do think hope plays a really important role in our healing work, in our ability uh, to change and thrive and grow. So I'm curious, when you think about the concept hope, what comes up for you? And I've pulled up a couple of quotes. Um, and I'm going to share with you what Brene Brown found in terms of her research about, in her books, Daring Greatly and um, Rising Strong. Sue says a possibility of change. Yes, exactly. Exactly. The dream of the possibility. Yes. 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 Excellent. Excellent. Because I love what she says, right? That it is learnable, right? It is hope is not a feeling, it's a thought process, right? It's cognitive thought process built on three parts, right? Built on three parts. So I'm going to talk about the three parts, and then I'm going to invite you to see, how this applies to you and where you are on your healing journey. Yes, I hear you, Rob. I hear you. So I'm going to go back to Brene Brown. She's such a great storyteller, and how she talks about the science of hope, right? She says, and this was like, she was wrong about hope, she said, until she did the research. And she says, hope is an emotion. It's a way of thinking or a cognitive process. Emotion play a supporting role, but hope is really a thought process made up of trilogy of goals, pathways, and agency. Yes, healing journey, seesaw, right? This one is Daring Greatly. So, in very simple terms, as she says, and I like simple, I prefer simple, keeping it simple, right? Healing is complex and complicated enough. We have all these different dimensions to what it is to be human. We need to simplify this process as much as we can. And so she says, in very simple terms, hope happens when we have the ability to set realistic goals, right? Step one, your goal, realistic goal. And of course, I want to be healed. Whatever that means, right? Again, what does that mean? What's normal? What's having healed from trauma? I don't think any of us really know. We get to decide. I don't know what hope means. So, realistic goal, right? Number two, we are able to figure out how to achieve those goals. Realistic goal is balance. Well, and I think realistic goal, and let me just refer back to the story I was telling you guys about my son, right? I wanted my son to believe in himself, right? When he was struggling with school in second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, I give up. I pulled him out of school. He's unhappy. He's not getting support. The teachers, support staff, he's not getting what he needs. His self esteem was tanking. My long term goal for him was that I wanted him to believe in himself. I want him to know that no matter what his struggle, he's a good person and that he has all kinds of gifts and talents that don't necessarily show up, in how he's being asked to show up in school, and he's being rated and graded, put into a box, right? So my long-term goal for him was to feel good about himself. My short-term goal was I'm removing him from the environment that is contributing to his stress, right? That he is not seen or heard or feels like he matters or belongs or you know is getting, like, even school wasn't even fun. He hated it. So he was very anxious about school. Yep, exactly. And so how did I do that? By removing the stressors. So should we not go after goals we don't know how to achieve yet? Well, here's the thing, right? Realistic. We are building. So I didn't worry about his reading. I didn't worry about his math. I didn't worry about his whatever. People, I got pushed back from some family members that thought, you're isolating him. He's going to fall behind, yada, yada, yada. I said, I don't care. What I know about trauma and the nervous system is that no human is learning when they're highly stressed, right? So I said, it doesn't matter what they're trying to make him do at school. He's not integrating any of it. None of it makes sense to him, other than it makes him feel bad about himself. So it's not even helpful right now. I don't care about what they're trying to teach him. What's important to him is not what they're teaching in there. I'm taking him home where I can be with him and we can play and have fun and explore, what he's really interested in. So finding, helping him to learn through his interests. So Raki, yes, we should go after goals. Like I said, I knew I wanted to heal. I knew that was my relentless compulsion, turning over every stone, every leaf, right? How do I heal? All the books, all the things that told me what was wrong with me. You have PTSD, you have complex trauma, right? All the things. You didn't have secure attachment, right? I know all that. Show me what I can do. Like, show me the path to that long-term goal. So yes, by all means, set that long-term goal, but how to break it down into manageable steps. And that's what we are going to brainstorm. So think about it. What goal are you working on? If you've already gathered the information, right? That's where I was. I got a little sidetracked with my story. So we are able to figure out how to achieve those goals, including the flexibility, right? Including the ability to stay flexible and develop alternative routes, right? This is where I'm going. Like, that's like what I told with my son. This is how I want him to feel as an adult. He just turned 18 last week. That this is how he feels about himself. How do we get here? Oh my goodness, right? I had no idea. We had small goals along the way. So I know how to get there. I'm persistent, and and I can tolerate disappointment, and I try again. Right? So absolutely, Lynn, I helped him find his balance. Absolutely. Not only that, I helped him to find his strength, internal strength, not based on what other people were telling him, right? His sense of self. And then the third one, right, is that we believe in ourselves. We believe in ourselves. I can do this. I can do this. And I know for some of us in the beginning, can I do this? I want to do this. I don't want to do this. Right? This is the path. This is the process I'm being told. Ugh, do I want to? In the beginning, I don't know about you. For me, I know for a lot of it was about going on faith. Okay, there's a survivor here. I think they're 5 or 10 steps ahead of me. They tell me these are the steps that got them there. So feels kind of iffy over here, but I'm going to continue. I'm going to do this next step and this next step and this next step. And I may have to circle back around, right? Right? Being flexible and consider that there is a possible alternative route. And that's where I think when it comes to healing, a lot of people, we go different paths, right? The steps may be different, but ultimately, I think when we get there, right, I think most of us want similar, I don't want to say the same things, but similar things. So the tough one for me at the moment, believe in myself. Yes, I hear you, Sue. I hear you, Ricky. Yes, I hear you. We want to see the evidence first. Yes, Ricky, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And I think that's where the taking the realistic goal, right? Know where I am and where I'm going and set a realistic goal can help us to collect those evidence. Because if I set a really huge goal, right, then the evidence for that is going to take obviously a longer time. But if we set smaller goals, then okay, I got here. Okay, I got here. And that's how we start to collect evidence, and also surrounding ourselves, right? Like what we're doing here with fellow survivors that are on this journey that we can relate to, and we recognize that becomes a little bit of our evidence until we have those personal, for ourselves. So like for me, sitting in that support group, the first group that I was in all those years ago, I had heard enough of them telling their stories and about their experiences and their impact that I was like, okay, there's enough resonance here for me to trust that there's enough similarities that if this is what's helped them to go from here to here, I'm going to borrow that hope, or I'm going to explore trying the same thing and see if it works for me, right? And then also using the support of people on the journey that when we struggle with believing that we can, right? We struggle with believing in ourselves. And certainly that can be one of the hardest things about not getting that loving support growing up, right? To believe in ourselves. Rob says, you have the ability to ascertain which goals you set that work best, whereas often I get lost in the bandwidth of overload, if that makes sense. Yes, Absolutely. That makes sense. Lynn, hey, a realistic goal for me on some days is deciding to get out of bed. I hear you, Lynn. I hear you, Lynn. A victory is making it to the bathroom. I hear you, friend. I hear you. Yep, I hear you. I hear you, friend. Absolutely. So, like I mentioned earlier, I am curious. I am curious. What is a goal that you are working on, if you want to or are willing to share? And if you have gathered the steps, the how to, and if there is a process that you feel like isn't working for you, like sometimes the path to a goal, there could be different routes, right, to get to it. So maybe we can share. What path are you trying? Is there something else you want to consider? I struggle to get out of bed too sometimes, working on gratitude in the morning. Yes, I hear you, Ricky. And finding a way to limit the negative influences is important to reinforce my progress too. Yes. Yep. Yep. Lynn, I found out a few hours ago, clearance to take a classes for EMT. Yes. Awesome. Congratulations, Lynn. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. That's exciting. That is exciting. Yes, of course. I'm super excited for you. Yes, Lynn, you got to type that out, what EMT stands for. Emergency medical technician. Yes. Is that part of being an driving, not maybe driving, but being in an ambulance? Or is it just you have that skill, or are you going to be working in emergency room? Tell us more. That's a huge goal. That's exciting. Yes, exactly. Or maybe you are going to be the one driving. I could see you behind an ambulance driving. That's awesome, Lynn. Woot woot. You already can drive an ambulance? Awesome. That's exciting, Lynn. So what inspired that? What inspired that goal? And what I was going to say here, I have a quote by Brene Brown where she talks about the hope here. And I think you guys have heard me talk about it too on some of the days where I struggle, or I've struggled with, why am I doing this? What's the driver here? I remember the why. I remember the why. So why, Lynn? Why did you want to become an EMT? And for a long while for me around the healing journey, I was like, why am I doing this? Why do I want to heal? What am I trying to change? Why am I trying to change? So Brene Brown says here, if we want to cultivate hopefulness, we have to be willing to be flexible and demonstrate perseverance. Not every goal will look and feel the same. Tolerance for disappointment, determination, and a belief in self are at the heart of hope. And if I just reflect back on what I feel like, I know for my son, he's going to be work in progress like the rest of us for the rest of his life. But what I feel like I've planted the seeds is for him to believe in himself, because, right, I've believed in him even when no one else did. And I know that's for so many of us the biggest struggle, is that we didn't have anyone that believed in us. And very often that's the most important part of the healing journey. Like, I want to believe in myself, right? I want to believe that I am capable of, right, discovering my authentic self, right? Lynn, when I was a kid, there was a TV show called Emergency, showed a fictional LA County paramedic team. Awesome, Lynn. That's amazing. So you could say this was a long-term goal, right? That you have been flexible and have certainly taken some alternative routes, perhaps, to reach your goal. But here you are, never too late to go after those goals, go after those dreams, right? So hope is learnable, right? Each time we try, right? Thank you, Sue. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lynn, if I did not get a mental illness, I would not only have my MD, but JD as well. I don't know what JD is, but, well, it dovetails nicely to my resume. Yeah, it does. Sure, it does. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what JD is, but EMT. Ah, a lawyer. Got it. Got it. Hey, Liz. Good to see you, friend. Glad you're here. Jurist, doctorate. All right. I don't think I've ever heard that. Obviously, I heard about a lawyer, but not the JD, how you. So, Liz, we were just talking about how hope is learnable. And I was reflecting on our go-to for everything, Brene Brown, Daring Greatly. Breaking down how to cultivate our hope for the journey. And it's really through that struggle where we learn right? By doing and practicing and start to believe in ourselves, right? So hope is learnable, not a feeling, it's a thought process. And I don't know, maybe I kind of latched onto it because I like to think things through. I'll take sometimes these concepts in and I'll just sit with them and sit with them and sit with them. But then I also like to bring them from here to here. So, um, and so we talked about the first step, right, is to it's a cognitive process built on 3 parts: goals, pathways, and what was the last one? Agency, right? Believe in ourselves. Believe in ourselves. So we were sharing what's your goal? What's the goal you're working on? And do you have the how to? Right? And sometimes there are alternative routes. And that's part of building hope is we learn to be flexible, recognize. And Lynn is giving us a perfect example. She is finally going to go and get certified to become an EMT, a dream since she was, what, 6, Lynn? Never too late. Never too late. So, and then the last part, right, is to believe in ourselves, right? To have a sense of agency that what we do matters, that we can influence and impact our outcome, which I think is especially important for us as survivors, especially having felt powerless for so many years over a lot of things. Where is it that we can find or feel like we have some sense of power? So, Rob says, I got to talk sternly to my old teacher when I had parents Eve with your stepson who was on the spectrum, and I did not like the way he was talking about my boy, so I let loose. Good for you, Rob. Good for you. Good for you. It's important on so many levels, right? That's what we talk about here. We speak up for each other and for other people that haven't found their voice yet, right? So thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. Lynn, me getting my EMT opens up new possibilities. Yes, exactly, right? Opens up possibilities. Yes, Liz, what's your goal, my friend? Do you have a goal you're working on? Acknowledge, where do you want to go, right? Where are we going? Life is changing. We are changing. The world is changing. And sometimes, yes, we want to change, but there's a part of us that resists the change. Yes, I like that, Liz. To finish renovating the house and to spend a year in Ireland. Yes, you're going to have to pop over to UK and visit our friends there. That sounds awesome, Liz. Hey, Lynn, if the test is to climb a tree, a monkey will pass every time and a fish will fail. Yes, exactly, Lynn. That's it. That's exactly it. So we gotta get away from standardized testing and to know that there's so much we miss when we try to put people in categories or boxes and expect everybody to learn the same way, right? To be a certain way, the same way. So I've been a fish, better at swimming than climbing. I hear you, Lynn. That's excellent. I'm loving the plan, Liz. Loving the plan. And then I think for me, like once I, realized, like I understand the process, but the process of healing, right? Awareness, acceptance, befriending, feeling, releasing, integrating, right? It's a circular spiral. And the deeper the trauma or the earlier the trauma began, right? There we could be discovering the impact of it for the rest of our lives, right? Like just a couple weeks ago, I, had a new awareness that I was like, okay, all right, I knew that was here. I just didn't know how deep and painful it was or how deep it went. And so just been sitting with it, making sense of it, given my history, given my childhood, given, the impact of my trauma. It all makes sense. All makes sense. I'm not taking you down the cycle of it being about shame at all, but just like interesting how things can kind of hide from us for so long. Right here. Like where's our blind spot? Right here. It's right here. I can't see it, but you guys can see it, right? So noticing, processing, and releasing. Liz, also take a dance class when we can do that. Yes. Yes. More arts, right? More art classes. I want to do art classes when we can do that in person. I've done those online. I follow a lot of YouTube people. Now I think it would be fun to do that in person. Lynn, they were always realistic, easy once it became possible. Nice. We will have a mug of baked beans waiting when you arrive to welcome. There you go, Rob. Liz, you're welcome, crew. We'll be ready for you. We'll be ready for you. That's right, Rob. A fish came out of the ocean, became reptiles, and then climbed trees. Yes. You're funny. You are funny. So, and again, my friends, the reason I'm bringing up the topic of hope, right, is that hope is a function of struggle. It is really through the struggle that we learn about ourselves, what we're capable of, right? And so we can't have hope without the struggle. Liz, Sue, one of my goals is to sing in person with a chorus I've joined online. Maybe August, but I need to have the confidence to do it. Yes. Yes. Of course. Of course. Practice. You'll do it. You'll do it. You've been singing with them for so long. I certainly hope you give it a try. Give it your best. You got this. Exactly. Exactly. Lynn. Well, we believe in you, Sue. We have seen you, my friend. Oh my goodness. So many songs, so many choirs that you have participated in this year. So you are been practicing hard. We believe in you. I am super excited for you to go for it, So, and here's the thing, my friends, is that sometimes when we are reaching for a goal, right? We learn something new about ourselves in the process, and then we decide, wait a minute, that wasn't the goal. I've changed my mind. I discovered something else that I'm gonna do, right? You are imperfect. You are wired for struggle. Lynn said it here. Law of natural selection. We are wired for struggle, right? Our nervous system, our biology, we are meant to navigate the ups and downs of life. No matter what, you are worthy of love and belonging. I'm just kind of looking through some of Brene Brown's quote. I love them all. This one here. I can't decide. There's so many good quotes. Well, and as we are working on our healing, right? We are owning our story, writing our own ending, right? Choosing courage over comfort. Choosing courage over comfort. And that is the bravest thing. And that in my book is how we live wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Hey, Lady Leo. Hey, friend. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? How are you doing, my friend? That's right, Ricky, right? Choose courage over comfort. And that's right, the science of hope, right? You choose courage, going after your goals, risk being vulnerable, risk being a beginner, learning something new. That's always uncomfortable in the beginning. And that's especially uncomfortable for us since we've spent so much of our time protecting ourselves, right? It's not safe to be vulnerable. It's risky. We're going to get hurt. And so our nervous system goes, heck no, not vulnerable, not risking that. And then if that triggers our shame, right? And if shame takes over, shame is the part of us that tells us we are not capable of change. So navigating those moving parts. So courage over comfort. I like that too. Hope is audacious. Yes. Better to venture forth in fear and perish upon the blade than to never have ventured forth at all. There you go, Lynn. That's it. That's it. However, I've done that before. I can do it again. There you go. Ricky, exactly, right? We've done it once, we can do it again. And that's how we believe in ourselves, right? Okay. All right, I can feel that feeling. I can ride that wave. Good to hear that, Wanda. Breathing through the rough stuff. Excellent. Even the breathing process is easier. Good. Good. Right? Each time we do it, it gets easier. And then sometimes we just have to hang on. riding the wave through it. Have boundaries in place that preserve your integrity and allow generosity. Yes. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. There you go, Rob. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. There you go, right, Liz? Yep. Yep, 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 exactly. Those waves are still coming. And sometimes they feel like they're getting really big and they're going really, really deep. But we are also getting stronger. We are surfing better, maneuvering the waves, learning to see how strong we are in riding those waves. We got this, my friends. We got this. We got this. Yeah, I hear you. You are, Lady Leo. You are a champion. You are. And of course, I pulled a card for us today. And yeah, it's always perfect. I don't make it up. So, you guys want to guess what card it is? In the beginning, says Sue, it wasn't quite as formed. It was just a realization that maybe healing was possible. Yep. I hear you, right? Maybe it was possible. Maybe it was possible. And, I don't know about you, Sue, but for me, that maybe came from hearing other survivors tell me that how they were healing, what the process they were doing, or what it is that they were doing. And I'm like, okay, if they can do it, maybe there's possibility for me. I didn't quite believe it or believe that I could. It might work for them. I'm not so sure about me, right? Because I didn't quite believe in me. So, so again, this is where coming together as a community, we support each other. Sometimes we are riding this wave on a borrowed hope, So, right? I'm riding this wave. I borrowed this surfboard from my friend Rob, and I'm just hanging on tight because he told me if I just hang on tight, I'm going to make it through. So, well, whatever the card is, that's right. Hope is why we take a new path. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Know your goal, right? What's the goal? What are you working on? This is where I've been, for me on the healing journey, I needed maps. I needed the steps. I needed the process. That's all what my left brain needed. What's the freaking process, right? And then, right, I set my goal. Okay, if they tell me this is how I feel my feelings, I'm doing it. If this is how I become a parent to my inner child, I'm doing it. Right? And so you're saying I just have to cry a lot to feel my feelings? Okay, I can do that. Right? And so, right? Show me the map. Show me the process. That's what worked for this brain. And the steps. And yes, of course, I did the dance on back and forth. And slowly I'm like, okay, I can do this. I survived that deep dive. I was able to surf to the shore. Okay, that wave felt big, maybe wasn't so terrible. Okay, the next one, I'm ready. And of course, a few in between that knocked me over. I got this. I got this. And this is why I'm here, hanging out with you guys, passing on that hope. I believe in you. You, right? You, my friend. Absolutely. Hope is the thing with feathers that perched in the soul and wings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Of course. Yes, Lady Leo. And that's it. Biggest part of my job. I got your belief. I believe in you right here until you're ready. I got it. I got it. Right? And so, the card for today. One day she decided to believe. There you go, Sue. It's so funny, Sue. I was actually going through some old emails, and I was seeing some emails from some people that, like 2016, that had emailed me after they heard that summit. And it was kind of amazing to read some of those. So here, I pulled this card. I did not pull it out. It was very random. One day she woke up and decided to believe. There it is, my friends. With that, good to be here with you all, sweet friends. I hope you have a beautiful holiday weekend. I hope you remember to do something this weekend that sparks joy, that feels good. Go out in nature, hug a tree, paint or draw or sing or dance. I'm going to do a little bit of dancing and painting and singing. I sing a lot actually by myself. Woohoo! And my son, I hear him in the shower. It's hilarious. I know, Rob. It's not. It's just the way how the universe works. So, bug season, no tree hugging. All right. I've been taking shots of the trees in bloom, inspiring me to practice painting flowers. I'm more of an abstract painter, I think. I like just to splatter paint, so that's more fun. That's my inner child. She loves to make messes. All right, sweet friends, as always, thank you for being here. It was so good to see you all. I'll be back here, same time, same place next week. If this inspired you, please give me a thumbs up here on YouTube. It helps. And feel free to share with any survivors in your life that you think might benefit from our conversation. All right. Thanks, friends. Have a good week. I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.